So you want to offer me a portion of the hospital?
Yes. Consider it a donation to the church. The profits from the hospital can provide money to pay for upkeep of the church building in addition to your personal salary. I currently own 2/3 of the hospital and I can offer you 1/6 of it. And in exchange for that, you can publicly endorse my next campaign for mayor of the town. Together we will make sure no Democrat takes over as mayor and we can conduct our businesses as we want.
Today in school, I dealt with a girl named Debbie Smith. She is in 7th grade.
What about her?
She was refusing to do Bible readings in class. I confronted her about that and she said,
"Why have you dragged me into this storage space? I don't do Bible readings because I am an atheist. Why should you care?"
"People like you shouldn't even be in this town. We have standards and if you don't conform, you will suffer. Starting now."
Stop. I've done nothing to hurt you.
You exist. That's reason enough to punish you, bitch. If we don't beat down people like her, they might someday challenge our fathers. They could threaten us. That's what my father says.
Mine too. Anyway, now that I am about to graduate, my own father says he will make me a cop. And maybe you can also join the police force. Wouldn't it be awesome to work together to keep the people of this town in line?
Having suffered a humiliating defeat, Police Chief George Anderson comes up with a new plan.
That restaurant owned by Lucy Sims is what she and her wife Jessica and their daughters depend on for income. If we destroyed the restaurant, they would likely have no choice but to leave the town.
Right? Plus it would punish anyone foolish enough to work for that atheist lesbian bitch. I can get tools to force the front door open and then we can start a fire in the kitchen.
Good. And they will bring gasoline to pour at various places to act as a chemical accelerant to make the whole place burn down faster. The Tuscany Tavern should be closed by now.
How long do you think it will take for the restaurant to clear out completely?
Probably an hour. And there's the owner. She is locking the door.
The cops continue to wait until Lucy has been gone for about half an hour, then they approach the restaurant.
Okay, use the tools you have to open the door. And we need to be quick about this.
Unknown to the cops, Lucy installed a security system, including a silent alarm and cameras. As a result,
Jessica. Someone is breaking into the restaurant. I just got a notice on my phone. Just as you feared would happen. I will wake up the others. You go out and start our car.
Now that we have poured gasoline all over the floors, time to start the fire here.
Police Chief Anderson then dumps the last of the gasoline on the stove and turns it on. As a result,
Let's get out of here.
but just as they are leaving,
What are you doing here?
We got a notice that someone was breaking into the restaurant.
Right. And that someone was clearly you. And is that smoke I smell? Did you start a fire in there? The rest of you use their own handcuffs on them. I will go in and stop the fire. Jessica, call the fire department.
you were right, Mrs. Sims. There was gasoline all over the place. This was clearly a case of attempted arson. Had you and the others not arrived so quickly, within an hour the restaurant would have been destroyed. As it stands, only the kitchen suffered minor damage. Repairs may take only a couple of days.
Thank you.
How can you do this to me? Look at what they did to me. And I am your boss, Officer Root.
Not anymore. You stopped being my boss the moment you decided to break the law rather than enforce it. So I and the Sims family will take you and Officer Mark Raymond down to the police station to be booked and jailed like any other criminal. George Anderson, you are the son of Ted Anderson, who was the mayor of the town we both came from, and you yourself was its police chief before you were sent here for an act of attempted arson. So, why have you asked to speak to the press now?
After I was convicted of that crime, my father made an appearance on the Rush Scumpa show. He claimed my act was entirely my own, but that's not true. Everything I did as police chief was to support my father. He repeatedly told me and others he wanted us to get rid of the Sims lesbian couple and their daughters, along with Sandy Smith and her children. Burning down the Tuscany Tavern was all about that. I was so loyal to my father, and in turn he throws me under the bus.
Plausible deniability is something many politicians who are involved in scandals may benefit from. But you said there was more to reveal.
That's right. You are probably aware that about 3 years after my father first became mayor, our town's water supply became contaminated because its sewage treatment system failed.
Yes. Because your father stopped funding for the system.
True, but also because I sabotaged the system. My father ordered me to do that.
What? Why would he do such a crazy thing?
Because my father is a friend of Leonard Wilson, who was a co-owner of the local hospital. Mr. Wilson said that he wanted to increase profits for the hospital.
Oh my God. Leonard Wilson is the father of Ted Wilson. By the way, he is no longer involved with the hospital, but his brother Simon is. Could Simon have also been involved in this conspiracy?
I can't confirm that. I just know what I was told and what I was ordered to do. My father constantly demanded loyalty to him, but when it came time for him to support me, he backstabbed me instead. And he never visits me in prison either.
Thank you for your statement.
Why are you here? You are the last person I ever expected to show up at this prison.
I came here to see you, of course. I heard from Jason Laker about you turning against your father, who you were so loyal to in the past that you were willing to commit crimes for him. So I just want to ask you one question. Why? Why would you want to destroy your father's political career now?
I already told the reporter about my father never visiting me here. But my mother did. And the last time she was here, she showed me the interview that Rush Scumpa did with my father, the one in which he denied influencing me to try to destroy your restaurant. That completely broke me. That my father cared more about advancing his political career than about me as his son. Then my mother sent me a letter telling me my father was running for state senator. And so I decided it was time to get revenge on him.
You should have opposed your father from the very beginning. He hurt so many people in our town as mayor, including my daughter Carrie, who almost died from drinking contaminated tap water. But as long as his policies didn't affect you, then you didn't care. Typical conservative thinking, eh? Let me explain something to you. As a black person, I oppose racism. As a lesbian, I oppose bigotry against LGBT people. And as an atheist, I oppose Christian bigots influencing our governments. But I also fight for the rights of Jews, like my father, and Muslims, like my nephew Scott and his fiancée. But even people I have no connection to at all I am willing to fight for. Because those people are human, just as I am, and I act totally on principles, not selfish interests. I don't seek to discriminate against or persecute others in any way. I'd even fight for your rights if you were not a criminal.
You expect me to believe that? How can you not believe in God, but care so much for others?
Because people are real, and God is not. True morals cannot be based only on religion, because religions are not based on facts, only questionable claims.
I see. Everything I did as a cop against you I justified because I thought you were selfish, hateful people. Like me. But I was wrong. There is something else you should know. I used to be a member of your church, which was originally Southern Baptist before converting to Unitarian Universalism. My father and I were not very active in that church, but we were outraged at this radical change. So one day I broke into the Smith's house while the mother was at work and the kids were at school and smashed everything I could with a sledgehammer. Then I went to your house to repeat the process, but was stopped by a neighbor of yours watering your front lawn. Then I went there again to see Dr. Drake at the house. And finally I went there once more to see Mrs. Smith and her kids there, along with some pink-haired lady I'd never seen before. So I gave up and went home.
Wow. We never even suspected you were the vandal. We assumed Reverend Dave Owen might have done it.
No, it was all my doing. I take full responsibility for it. Mrs. Sims, I am truly sorry for my past misdeeds. And I hope someday you can forgive me for them.
George Anderson, the truth is, I've already forgiven you.
Yes, it was I, George Anderson, that sabotaged the sewage treatment system at my father's command about 3 years after he became mayor of our town. He paid me $10,000 for that act. My father also promised to make me a police officer, and later he even made me police chief. I never questioned his orders as mayor, because even as a father he ruled the household with an iron fist, and never allowed me or others to question his desires. And I grew up seeing Leonard Wilson so often at my home that I thought of him as my uncle. My parents took me to church every Sunday, and there I was taught to obey the pastor and obey my parents without question. And thus as police chief I enforced that same attitude of absolute obedience unto my subordinates. After I was sent to prison, I realized that the values I'd been brought up with were not Christian at all. They were fascist. My father had brainwashed me, and so my mother had to teach me different lessons in the many letters she sent me and the talks we had when she would visit me. And so I changed. I accept my punishment for what I did, but it is time for my father and Leonard Wilson to pony up too, because I never would have done a lot of the things I did as a cop if not for them, including that arson attempt at the Tuscany Tavern.
Thank you, son. I am proud of you now.
Finally, it is time for a judgment to be made.
Members of the jury, have you reached a verdict in this case?
We have, Your Honor. On the charge of conspiracy to destroy public property, we find both Ted Anderson and Leonard Wilson guilty.
Thank you, members of the jury. Ted Anderson and Leonard Wilson, you are both hereby sentenced to 10 years in a state prison, and you will also be fined $100 million each to be paid to the many victims listed in the civil action filed against you by Sandy Smith. Of course, no amount of money can compensate the families of those who died in this case, but it is still fitting that your fortunes be wiped out considering how you got most of them. And so this case is concluded.
George Anderson, the time has come. Today, you are to be released from this prison so you may have a chance to live a productive life.
I am ready. Mother. And Mrs. Smith, I didn't expect to see you here.
Your mother asked for my help after she learned of your upcoming release. You should know that there are many people, including my daughter Debbie, who still despise you for your past misdeeds, but I figured the best way to keep you out of trouble is to have you live and work elsewhere so you won't be reminded of your past. This is my ex-husband, Steve Mueller. He has agreed to take you in and get you started on your new life.
Mr. Anderson, I can offer you two options. First, I own a nightclub in Tulsa and I can hire you as a bartender there. If you accept that, you will answer directly to the club's manager, Jack Watson. Also, I own a modeling agency in Dallas. You can work as a bodyguard to some of the models employed there. If you work there, you would answer to its general manager, Claudette Rouge. Which option would be better for you?
I think I would prefer option 2. That way, I can remain closer to my mother, just in case.
Very well. You will come with me and I will take you to Dallas.
Normally, I'd never agree to hire a convicted felon to work with my models, but Mr. Miller and Mrs. Smith say you are a special case. I will put you to work on a trial basis and see how you perform.
Thank you.
George Anderson, what the hell are you doing here?
Didn't your mother tell you? I now work here as a bodyguard for one of the models here. I was sent here to start my life over after getting out of prison.
Legally, you may have paid your debt to society, but I still have a personal score to settle with you. That was for trashing my family's home nearly a decade ago. That was for trying to burn down the restaurant my mother co-founded. And that was for almost killing my future wife Carrie after you ruined our town's water supply. I only wish she was here to beat you too, but she is busy with police work, so I have to do it for her. Debbie, are you satisfied now? Yes. Thanks for inviting me here. And George, you'd better stay out of trouble, or both I and Carrie will come after you. Goodbye.
Hello, Miss Smith.
So you work here now, George Anderson? Well, as long as you stay out of trouble, I don't care. Give me and Carrie glasses of wine. Now.
How about a whole bottle of wine? We've been through a lot of shit these past few weeks, so we need to drown our sorrows.
Sure. And given our past history, I will serve you the finest bottle of French wine we have here. And it will be on the house.